In September 1835, Mary Sykes Watson and her father Joshua were conducted on an excursion by the poet William Wordsworth over the Kirkstone Paths and down the Airey-Force valley, where a waterfall runs down into the head of Ullswater by Gowbarrow Park. Mary and her father had been following a detailed itinerary devised by Wordsworth and had ended up at the Wordsworth's home at Rydal Mount, where their names appear in the visitor's book, though because of Dorothy's illness they couldn't stay. The excursion to the valley was the first time Mary had seen the waterfall, but for Wordsworth it was a favourite spot. 30 years earlier, Wordsworth had come there with his sister Dorothy and had seen the host of golden daffodils which Dorothy recorded in her journal and which William made into his most famous poem. Now, in almost the same place, another shared experience would give rise to a new poem. The Watsons had had to leave Wordsworth when they reached Ullswater, but he had carried on through Gowbarrow Park, throwing into blank verse a poem that he had already started composing out loud while they were coming down the falls. In his letter of thanks, Joshua asks if he could send them a copy of it. In his reply, Wordsworth mentions that when his carpet-bag arrived from Halstead's, he had found a plaid belonging to some of your party had been left by mistake as mine. I fear you might miss it. It shall be taken good care of till I have an opportunity of restoring it to you. What then happened is unclear, but the plaid was treasured by the Watson family as a memento of Wordsworth and is now in the Dove Cottage Museum. As well as returning the plaid, Wordsworth presented Mary with a copy of his Guide Through the Lakes with an inscription, "Miss Watson, with the kind regards of William Wordsworth." And in his letter he apologises that he cannot transcribe these lines for Miss W. with his own hand, as my arm has become much worse. I cannot even tie my own necktie. He describes his poem as a description of the scene which struck Miss Watson and me at the same time. What seems to have happened was that Mary and Wordsworth both noticed that while the oak trees near the waterfall were entirely still, a faint breeze was rippling the ash trees higher up. Not a breath of air ruffles the bosom of this leafy glen. From the brook's margin, wide around, the trees are steadfast as the rocks. The brook itself, old as the hills that feed it from afar, doth rather deepen than disturb the calm, where all things else are still and motionless. And yet, even now, a little breeze, perchance, escaped from boisterous winds that rage without, has entered by the sturdy oaks unfelt, but to its gentle touch how sensitive is the light ash, that pendant from the brow of yon dim cave, in seeming silence makes a soft eye music of slow waving boughs, powerful almost as vocal harmony, to stay the wanderer's steps and soothe his thoughts.